Hey everybody, time for the best of 2025. Our year-end episode of MacBreak Weekly is next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is MacBreak Weekly, episode 1005 for December 30th, 2025. Farewell 2025, hello 2026. It's time for MacBreak Weekly, our annual best of episode. We've gathered the gang together and a few extra folks who stopped by along the way to bring you some of the best pieces from 2025. I'm Leo Laporte. I want to thank you for supporting MacBreak Weekly. We celebrated, is it next year we'll celebrate 20 years doing the show? I think it's next year. It's been a great run, and it's been all thanks to you. I hope you enjoy what you're about to hear, some of the best of 2025. Also in Northern California, hiding in his fortress of solitude, Mr. Alex Lindsay of Office Hours. Hello,
we're
Alex.
approaching, I think we're going to hit near 70 today here in
we've had some balmy weather, haven't we?
Next couple of days.
Weird.
My daughter and I both enjoy cold weather, so we're kind of like the end of the good. The good times are gone.
It's funny. We're talking about the weather like old friends who have nothing to say to one another.
You know,
But
Mike Hurley on the Upgrade podcast, he had to make a segment called Snell Talk where we talk about something other than the weather that is suggested by a listener, because otherwise it was always going to be the weather. So we're steering out into the skid. You steer into the skid, right?
Sorry,
There's a new iPhone.
There is a story.
Kind of.
There is a story.
You could go. It's being sold as an iPhone. That's technically
It's
correct.
made from various old parts and one new part and sold as a new iPhone. Yes.
Bloomberg, Mr. Mark Gurman says, Apple is abandoning the smartphone budget market with the 16E. It's true. It's $600, $179 or $170 more than the old SE.
Yeah, I'm keep trying to figure out how I feel about that. I think what I've landed on after a week is that it's okay that it's a damn shame, but it's okay that Apple is no longer making a budget phone. The 16E is definitely just simply the least expensive iPhone in the lineup. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but it's also like, yikes. I mean, I don't know. I've been spending the past few days comparing what $600 in an iPhone 16e will give you versus what $600 in a Google phone or a Google Pixel phone or a Samsung phone or a nothing phone and Android will give you. They're much bigger. You get a lot more value on the Android side of the fence, even if you don't want to go as low as $300 or $400. And I'm just trying to figure out exactly who the 16E is for, and I haven't decided yet what it is.
I guess my question also is how many people, now I buy the phone, like I just buy the phone and then I trade them in, I do whatever, but it seems like a lot of the carriers are giving you the phone, I mean, all the way up to a 16 Pro with your membership. So I don't know, I think part of this whole thing is that a lot of people are eligible for upgrades or they're getting them with their service, and so I'm not sure that the number, I don't know how many people are paying for that in cash. Again, I pay for mine in cash, but I don't know how many people do that.
Well, in different countries, it can be different, but like
right.
I think here's this is going to be terrible because it's nuanced. But Ben Thompson at Stratechery actually did. I know on the internet.
I'm not going to listen to this garbage.
Can we talk about the weather instead, please?
And what Ben Thompson at Stratechery pointed out, like he looked at iPhone SE prices. Using basically taking inflation out of it, right? So that you can the real value, real cost, and you think that he's winding up to say, see, it's actually about the same. It's not. It's still a price increase. It's just not as much of one as the 40% price increase makes it look like a lot. But I will say, I think a couple things are going on here. One is Apple really wanted to move their entire phone line to the essentially 7-year-old iPhone 10 platform, where you've got OLED, you've got the notch, so it really is the iPhone 10. You've got Face ID instead of making Touch ID. They've had that on the production line for a long time, but it's probably more expensive than the old Face or old Touch ID and non-OLED display was. And there's that. And then there's Apple Intelligence, which, love it or not, like Apple has decided all of its new models have to have Apple Intelligence support.
I think that's the real reason.
And so I think you put those two things together, and the bill of materials for this thing is way higher than the old SE was. And you know what? Apple is they're not going to turn down their traditional profit margin on hardware. They're just not. And so here we are. It does create an interesting kind of like, $5.99, $6.99, $7.99, $8.99, $9.99 kind of price spread on iPhones that Apple is currently selling. But and the other thing Ben Thompson pointed out is if you look, we've all been feeling like the SE was a good way for Apple to have an entry into selling a new phone in some markets that do not have the buying power of the big industrialized nations. The evidence is not as strong on that count. And this may also be Apple sort of admitting that these are the phones that Apple sells are the phones that are in this class, and they don't sell a $420 phone is not really what Apple's entire game is.
Yeah.
Two questions.
I was talking to
two questions. Hold on. Is this an example of Apple preparing ahead of time for incoming tariffs? Like they want to build the tariff in?
I can't imagine that they would have done that 3 years ago. I think that this.
They avoided tariffs 3 years ago, though.
Yeah. Well, but I think that this
you think they'll avoid them this time?
I just think that this is more of a world phone. I was talking to another analyst a few days ago who was developing the theory that it's not a single market phone by any means, but part of the mandate of the 16E was we have to have a phone that will compete in China, where they have amazing, not necessarily cheap phones, but mid-level phones. And so that it's okay for Apple to be the, hey, you want to buy you thought you wanted to buy a Huawei phone, but for even $100 less, you can get the prestige of this wonderful luxury brand.
And of course,
Apple
tariffs in China, right? So
yeah,
they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, Apple could reprice it later if they really need to, but I think that's one of the things.
That would piss off the president.
That's why they call it money. I would say it's a little bit
diplomatic here, right?
I would say instead of that's why they call it money, I would say that's why they have the profit margins. That's they can afford some fluctuation, and they do that. They talk a lot about how they get hit by foreign exchange a lot. Tariffs is not foreign exchange, but it's a similar kind of cost that can happen. And that, honestly, that is one of the things they do with having their margins where they are, is they don't have to float the prices internationally as much as you might think that they do. I'm sure if they got hit by tariffs, they would figure out a way to deal with it. I don't think that's the story here. I think that this is the convergence of wanting to go to an OLED Face ID platform where I think that hardware is more expensive. Even now, I think it's more expensive than what was on that model. And having to do Apple Intelligence because they want to bring parity. They have to. They don't want to sell a phone to people who might at this price point, buy it for 5 years and say, yeah, but this doesn't have all of the stuff we've just been advertising to you for the last 6 months.
There are some concessions. There are some things missing. But let me get to the second question, then we'll talk about what's missing. Second question is, do they not still sell older iPhones at a lower cost? Are those off the...
Not really. Yeah.
That's it.
In the US, it's just the 15, which is $100 more than this.
Oh, so there's nothing cheaper than this.
No, the 14 was at this price point, I believe, or was at the 100 up price point, and they've replaced the 14. I was talking to my colleague Dan Morin about this last week, and he suggested it's possible that they're even literally using the production line for the 14 to make this phone, right? You just flip it over, because they were selling new 14s, even though it's a 2-year-old phone, and they are still selling new 15s, and that's how they get that 100 up price point. So with no Apple Intelligence support, which is kind of weird, but you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. So I think
the other thing, the benefit is that these look like binned A18 chips. In other words, A18s that were made for the Pro, but didn't pass muster because
one of their cores isn't working, so you can sell it as a -1 core CPU.
So and this happens all the time in manufacture. You have you test the chips that come off the wafer, and if they are not up to snuff, you put them in different bins capable. Depending on their capabilities. And in this case, Apple doesn't really have a place to put binned chips. So maybe this gives them a way to sell them. Maybe they have a bunch of A18s without the 4th core GPU.
I think Apple doesn't really talk about what's in the Apple TVs.
Right. Well,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there are places they can put it.
It's all
right. That's the bottom bin.
It's all part of their plan too, right? Like, I mean, the story of Apple Silicon, we can talk about this a little later with the one new thing that's in this phone, but part of the Apple Silicon plan all along is Apple knows where they're going to use those chips. They know what models they're going to go in, and I think at this point they know where they're going to use the binned versions of those chips too, and they've got a whole little strategy of this will go in the Pro phone, and this will go in the non-Pro, and this will go in the E, and this will go in an Apple TV or an iPad, and they have this kind of plan about where all of those chips, including the ones that are tossed in the bin, are going to go.
So they did discontinue the SE, right? So that's gone.
It's gone, and and the 14, yeah.
Interesting.
That is a little bit heartbreaking. $430 for an iPhone to get you in the door. It's either to get you in the door or to make sure that everyone in your family can use the same services, the same content, the same parental controls. I thought that was a pretty important thing. But
you've always said that, Alex, that the kids get the cheaper iPhones.
Oftentimes
what do families do if there's no cheap iPhone anymore?
Well, I think that some of the math might also be that they look at what you end up buying, because whatever the base price is, you go in and go, oh, it's $449, and that gets you in the door, as Andy said. But then but by the time you go, oh, I really need a little more RAM, or I need a little bit more of that, they're seeing
good, better, best.
Yeah. So so I think that they oftentimes find that people aren't buying that lowest cost one, and if they are, oftentimes they're shifting over to even lower cost Android phones.
So there are two things gone now from the Apple lineup. One is the home button. There are no Apple iPhones that have home buttons anymore,
which is unfortunate. I still like the home. I still like the fingerprint better than the facial.
I do too.
Yeah.
And actually, I really use the fingerprint on the iPad Mini. In fact, when I need to use my password manager, I prefer to use the Mini because I can use a fingerprint instead of, especially in bed at night, going like this. Yeah. And the thing is, I was wearing this hat.
It'll make me raise my head 6 inches.
It was wearing this hat, and it didn't know who I was. Yep. So
Whoa, where'd Leo go?
Someone broke into the studio with Leo's credentials.
You see, even you don't know who the hell I am when I wear that. So I miss that. And the Lightning, there's no more. The only thing with Lightnings, are they still selling the iPad? No, there's nothing with the Lightning anymore, right?
No, I think that's it.
Throw out all your Lightning cables, kids. You don't need them anymore unless you got some old AirPods or something.
And there's a third one, although in a technicality, the iPhone 14 was the last iPhone, pretty much the last device Apple was making that was sold in a Project Red configuration.
Oh, that's sad. I love those red phones.
It's not so the Project Red line is not completely done. You can still buy a Project Red iPhone 14 case, but oh well.
It may come back. Who knows? It may be.
It may.
I love what they said about the 16E in terms of the colors. It says so much about Apple's attitude toward this. It's like, yeah, look, iPhone 15 comes in lots of colors. iPhone 16, lots and lots of colors. Oh, the 16E, well, you can get it in black or white.
Is that it? Really?
You want color, you got to pay, buddy. Color, you got to pay.
Wow.
Simplify the line. It probably also looks at what the vast majority of people, they're aiming for the middle. I bet you it's... I bet you they're hitting 90% of the market.
Unobjectionable.
With black and white.
Uninteresting, but unobjectionable.
Any color you want, as long as it's black or white.
Throw a case on it.
Not colors.
I oscillate myself between dark gray and black. Those are the two that I generally buy. So.
Yeah. Actually, what color? I don't even know because I have a case.
Because I was the same thing.
It's that green thing.
There was one time that I bought you know what? It was like. Was that winter in New England where it was absolutely, we were getting dumped with snow every 3 days. It was never ending. And sometime around January, I said, you know what? I need a little color and some bright. I'm going to get a pink phone case. And I got this lovely pink phone case, and I loved it until I was taking pictures with it. And the pink, if there's any kind of a reflection in a shot, it will show up in that reflect. So that's why it has to be a black case from now on.
I have the same problem with this hat. Actually, I don't understand why.
Who are you? He got back in. Lockdown.
I got this on vacation.
That does look like that checks out. That does look like a hat that someone buys on vacation.
For people who are listening, it's I don't know, how would you describe it?
It's a very stylish.
One of the Pope's Swiss guards if he's going clubbing later that night.
It looks like AI designed this. Is what it looks like. It's an AI watermelon. Hey, don't let me interrupt. I know we're having a blast here, reliving 2025. But I thought this would be a good time to mention something we do every year around this time that's very important to us and to our ad sales. It's our TWiT survey. We do it because we don't really, and no podcast does, know anything about you. That's, I think, a good thing. We respect your privacy. But We also would like to know a little bit about you to the degree you're willing to help us out. Just some basic information that helps us go to advertisers and say things like, well, 80% of our audience is IT decision makers, that kind of thing. That's why we do this annual survey. Should only take a few minutes of your time. As I said, it is one of the ways you can contribute to keeping TWiT on the air. If you would like to, before too long, in the next couple of weeks, do it now while you're watching. Go to twit.tv/survey26. It's our annual 2026 TWiT listener and viewer survey. It's very important to us, and I thank you. I really appreciate it. And of course, if you don't want to do it, or there's questions you don't want to answer, that's fine too. But any way you can help us out, we appreciate it. All right, now back to the show. But there is a victory for Apple. Congratulations. In England, remember, this is actually a fascinating story. For a long time, Apple couldn't say anything about a request by the English government, the British government, to remove end-to-end encryption, not just in the UK, but everywhere. Apple said, well, no. In fact, not only Apple didn't say anything, but they did withdraw advanced data protection from the UK, which everybody saw as a confirmation. And then we heard, and we talked about it, I think, last week, that there was going to be a court hearing. Again, a secret court hearing. Apparently, the secret court has now ruled against Yvette Cooper, who is the English regulator on Apple Encryption. This is from The Telegraph. The Telegraph and 9 other organizations successfully challenged an attempt to keep the secret the details of Yvette Cooper's legal battle with Apple. I guess in England, the name Yvette Cooper is well known. It's not here in the U.S., so I apologize to our American. I don't know who she is. Apple is challenging a technical capability notice. Now we know it's official, issued by the Home Secretary. Is she the Home Secretary? Maybe that's it.
Yes, she's the Home Secretary.
Okay, there we go. Demanding that the tech giant break the advanced data protection feature that encrypts iPhone backups. Lawyers for the Home Secretary had applied for a gag order, which would have prevented the bare details of the case from being made public. They argued revealing details would be damaging both to public interest, I'm not sure how that is, and national security. Well, I guess if it damages national security, it damages us all. Anyway, on Monday, the Lord Justice, president of the Investigatory Powers Tribunal, dismissed the Home Secretary's application, saying, no, you don't get total secrecy. So now, we know a lot more than we did before. We know, for instance, it's true that they did demand that.
Yeah.
So
the judgment is something like, I've got in front of me right now. It's like 9 pages long, and basically the judge patiently says that we acknowledge that it is possible for the claimant to correctly insist upon secrecy, but open justice is a very, very important principle, and you have not demonstrated the harm that will happen if this happened openly. It's also a murderer's row list of people who have objected to this this action of decrypting iCloud content. News providers, politicians on both sides of the ocean, essentially citing that there is enormous amount of interest in people who are affected parties who want observation and participation in this process, and that they will be denied participation in the process if this is not done openly. So that's also a timeline of all the actions that were taken. So it's good stuff. They lost at this point.
Yeah. But Apple does have to take a little heat, because it turns out it was Apple's fault that the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, was added to that not war plans signal messaging group. It was all the iPhone's fault.
I mean, maybe. I think probably it has the ring of it just being so
does
dumb.
Feel kind of
dumb enough to be true.
I think everybody in this conversation and listening have the same reaction, which is like, oh, come on, you're blaming the iPhones. And, they're saying that data detectors incorrectly flagged a phone number as an updated phone number or something and changed it. That's happened to me 11 times, and I've hated it every time. I'll sit back and read the article before
the idea here is during the campaign, there was somebody who has forwarded a request from Jeffrey Goldberg at The Atlantic for a comment, and a press officer in the communications group sent it to the guy who became national security advisor for him to comment. And therefore, that person, the communications person, sent text containing Jeffrey Goldberg's phone number to Waltz. And Waltz's iPhone apparently was like, hey, communication person has a new phone number. Do you want me to add that to the contact? Fast forward many months, and he's in Signal trying to add people to his "we're going to bomb the Houthis" chat. And he puts in that guy's name because he's in the communications group at the White House, but it's Jeffrey Goldberg's phone number, and that's how Signal works. And it goes, and I know there are people out there who are like, oh, this is all just a scam. What's really happening here is that he secretly was passing information to Jeffrey Goldberg, and he's just trying to hide it. And I guess that could be true, but this feels right. This feels like it's the answer, which is it was bad metadata, bad data in your contacts, and we've all seen that, like, hey, I'm going to be helpful, would you like to update this information? And it could go wrong that easily. Of course, the answer is to not use your phone and use the secure systems that the government provides for you, but we already kind of blew past that one.
This is like saying, it's not my fault. I had the Canadian invasion plans like in the backseat of my car. I went into Walmart for 10 minutes and someone broke in and stole them. It's the fault of the person who broke into the car. It's like, okay, Donkus, why did you have a copy of the battle plans in the backseat of your car?
It's the car's fault.
Could read.
It's like, the car's fault.
You're gone from like being this much an idiot to this much an idiot, which is good progress, but you're still this much an idiot.
Maybe Apple will change how that works. Although it is a convenience when it works properly.
Yeah, but this is isn't that like one of the most the things that technology and computers and software does that can really get me super angry is when it makes a decision that it thinks is in my best interests without being really transparent about what it's doing for me, and allowing me to quickly like verify and undo it. It was true when my auto reverse cassette player would continue to reverse and reverse and reverse, and it's true every time I say, "Wait a minute, why did you change all of the markdown formatting of this document into rich text?" Oh, because we want it to look pretty. I didn't ask you to do that because now I can't export this into the next app.
It's just trying to be helpful, Andy. You've got to accept help from.
Trust me, this is going to be better. You'll just trust us with that.
Just trust us. We know what's best for you. What is this thing that Apple is launching? The celebrity Snapshot.
This website is one of the most insufferable, only because, like, I would almost like it. Basically, what you can do is go to this website, click one of these faces, and it will tell you what Apple Music is available by them, what Apple TV shows they're in, even what Apple podcasts they've been in, which is kind of cool.
Oh, it's just their connection to Apple.
Like, yeah, if you click one, you'll just see all the Apple stuff. But you can't search. There's no just like straight text list of people's names. So if you like miss Messi or whatever, you have to like wait till he slowly comes around.
Slowly scrolls back.
Side of the thing. But it is kind of cool.
It's like a sushi restaurant on conveyor belt.
Yeah, it's very, very
it's
slow.
Conveyor belt sushi.
Yeah. But if you go to the bottom, there's like, what podcast interviews they've been, and you can go to that episode of
It's called snapshot.apple.com. And it's just, you're right. It's this. So I can't I have to wait till...
Yeah, you can't drag, you can't scroll. You just have to wait till it slowly rolls.
Who thought this was a good idea?
Well, at the Apple podcast, I mean, I like if I want to see an interview with Messi or Kate Blanchett, that's cool. I'd be curious so if they curate that stuff, but...
Yeah, but it's just so slow moving and there's no way I can...
Yeah.
I just have to sit here and watch.
Just gotta wait.
This is a marketing thing, not a tool of.
And if you don't like Seth Rogen, you got to spend 18 seconds thinking about how much you don't like Seth Rogen.
And why are they putting Drake in that jacket? That's the meme. The meme Drake. God.
I didn't think about that.
It's a little
is
weird.
Is that the best you could? Some people are in little dots. Some people are full tile. It's just this is whoever designed this.
My guess is that with some of those, they didn't have an image that they felt like was good enough to do
they put
something outside. They put it in the dot when they didn't have. I mean, as someone who's had to do lots of this,
poor Jennifer Aniston is only in a dot, but Beyonce gets a full tile with a horse.
probably because they had done
Because she's
something.
the queen, Leo.
Well, it probably had a different photo, a better photo, or whatever they could do.
It's not even a good photo of Jennifer Aniston, I might add.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Which is
wherever
very
they got that.
strange.
It does look like they pulled that off Google Images or something. That's kind of weird.
Well, they had to have rights
oftentimes-
to it, obviously.
Obviously, I mean, you reach out to the artist management and they send you something, and then now what will happen is the artist management will ping Apple and go, "Hey, what's the deal?" And Apple will go, "Well, send me a better photo," and then they will, and then it'll update. This is how this works. I'm just telling you. Watch all those.
Hi,
little
I'm
bubbles
calling for
update.
Brie Larson. I'm with Brie Larson's team. And that is the worst picture ever.
And Apple.
sorry.
Oh, they have the Mac
What
reaction.
Apple will go back and go, "Oh, we're really sorry. We're happy to have her come into one of our studios. We'll do a photo shoot with her, and we'll put up something nicer." And they'll go, "Oh, that's so great!" And it lets Apple chit chat with them and talk to them. It's
worth sitting here to watch this incredibly slow scroll just to see that Bad Bunny is full screen, where Ariana Grande is not even a dot. What the hell's going on there? Just a light.
That photo is at least 2 noses old. You need to update it, man.
Yeah, really.
It's probably the image again that they had from their management. And
would you know that Roger Federer was a tennis player from that picture of him in his suit and tie? I don't know. Hi, Elton. Yeah. That was a few years ago.
I've never even gotten this far. I've never let it scroll this far. I didn't realize Elton John.
Well, I want to know if there's an end. Poor Lady Gaga's having a bad hair day. Jeez.
So they have way more than you can just see. That's why just put a full list. Just do an alphabetical list.
Yeah, there's no fast forward. There's only a pause button. Like, it's moving too fast. Slow down.
It's a crazy idea. Like, why can't you just jump to the next window, or just swim, it's nutty. It's a nutty design.
You think this is a way to basically get people more engaged in all of their services? Like maybe people are using Apple TV Plus, but they're not using Apple Podcasts. So let's try to engage them this way. And if so, how would that be an answer? But I'm with you, Steven. It's like I'm trying to figure out what. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's stupid. I'm just saying it's well done for what it is. I just don't know why it exists.
Did you go any slower?
I don't know where you would find that page either, because it's not like linked on the homepage.
Snapshot.apple.com for those who wish to enjoy.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't seem like they're publishing it, like promoting it really yet, but.
It's not in alphabetical order. So that's another thing. I mean, I don't know what the order is. It's just random. Can we just sit here and watch for a while?
I'm way too invested. We have to stay
a little
here
ASMR music.
I'm mesmerized. Who's going to be at the end of this, or what's going to happen at the end? Is it going to wrap around, or
you might be at the end, Leo? Maybe
it's just going to stop.
Morgan Freeman's there. They put Morgan Freeman so far into the scroll.
Poor Morgan.
He should
no
be
one's
at the
ever
end.
getting there.
If you make it to the end, it should be Morgan Freeman. He should say.
And what is the Billie Eilish
creation
picture?
in reality?
That's nothing. There's not a picture. There's a black thing.
And you can't go back. There is only forward, and this is the end. I'm sorry to be the one to break.
Oh, we're repeating. Finally.
Oh, there you go.
There
we back to Austin Butler and Sabrina Carpenter.
So
the
Morgan
top
Freeman
two,
was the end.
top 2 stars.
He was the end.
I was just joking, but that was
So
good.
Morgan Freeman and Billie Eilish at the end.
It's hilarious.
Well, I'm sure we enjoyed that trip down Snapshot Lane, everybody.
Somebody worked hard on it. They did a good job. For what they were told to do, they did a really good job of it. We're not making fun of you.
I think they vibe coded it, to be honest. They weren't paying much attention.
Well, a lot of people have just been let go from the AI part, Apple Intelligence. Maybe they just need, look, I need to hold on to my office and my parking space. Give me something, anything to do.
Gosh. I guess I shouldn't start with the Pro. I should start where Apple started, with what we now know will be called the Air.
Yeah, I wish that we had figured that out earlier on. We're always referring to the iPhone 17 Air, but it makes sense that just like with their budget phone, not just with, but it makes sense that if something that they may not want to commit to updating each and every year, it makes sense for them to say, okay, this is the Air, and this is the first generation Air. There will be a second generation, third generation.
They announced 4 phones. They did not announce an SE. This might lend some credence to the rumor that they were going to start doing releases twice a year so that they can kind of spread the production out and spread the sales bump out. But we did get 4 phones, and the Air is actually gorgeous, except for a giant camera bump, which they call the plateau.
Exactly, yeah. you know they weren't going to call it a bar or a bump. It's a plateau.
I call it a butte, because it really, the plateau is a description of the flat surface on top, but really the dominant feature of this is the rise. You've got this very thin phone, it almost looks top heavy, and then this very large bump at the top.
It's a physics problem.
Right. You can't get the camera in the...
And the reality is, it's still, even though if you're going to reduce the number of cameras are still one of the most important part of the camera. So, most important part of the phone. And so that you have to give it the space that it needs to do that. I don't think that they can cheat their way. If they could, they would.
It's not just the camera. They said we also put the CPU in there.
A19 Pro, the same one as the
I heard
top
they put the kitchen
iPhones.
sink in there. They fit
it all in
slid it to the side.
I got to say, I was very impressed because we've been discussing for months, like, oh, well, there are a lot of people that might not mind having a lesser phone because they like the design or they like the style of it. I think the messaging, at least, of what they were talking about the iPhone Air is to make it very, very clear, at least in their messaging, that this is not a lesser version of the iPhone. This is a smaller, thinner version of the iPhone. You're going to get here's and telling back to that opener about design, like, here's all the engineering and design we did in order to make sure there's room for a larger battery. Here's all the engineering and design we made to make it give it the fastest CPU in every smartphone, make it more, I'm quoting here, more durable than any previous iPhone, which is something that we're all going to be worried about. But having a super, super thin, saying that going to like this new frame design, we've got this new modem is up to twice as fast as the C1 modem, uses 30% less energy, the most power efficient iPhone ever. Using the same
all-day battery life, which is, it sounds like it's basically the battery life of the 16.
Yeah.
Because the 17 Pros have much more
and just think,
life.
now that it's that much thinner, you can now put it into a battery case that's
they
smaller.
showed a special MagSafe battery that you could put on there, which really obviates the whole point of it. A lot of people are going to get cases, and those cases are going to be smaller now, so that's good. I mean, they have a new
it won't
thin
be as
case.
bulky. Because like my phone is this big with the case.
Look, that's ridiculous.
Smaller
with
the case.
But it's nice to have that option, that if you're going out to dinner, if you're going out day to day, you have the smaller, lighter phone. If you're in New York for a couple of days on business, it's nice to I can slap a battery pack onto it that makes it about as thick as a regular phone and not feel as though like I do think
the battery case that that a lot of people are going to put on this phone is just going to make it like the last phone was, but with a lot more battery.
So I think you don't need a battery case. I think the idea is if you can get through the day, and most people can, they do what you do, Alex. They charge it when they're sitting at the desk. The real question is durability, and they really doubled down on durability for all the new phones. They're saying they've got more durable screens. They've got the ceramic overlay. They're using glass front and back.
The thin one, like my wife puts hers in her back pocket, and I just feel like this is...
Oh, you sit on this, you're
sits
deep.
On it?
Yeah.
She does.
But no, don't. Get that crossbody strap and you can show off your...
That's the new fanny pack.
I thought it would go well with my fanny pack, actually.
You could attach it to your... What they need is a little strap that attaches to your fanny pack.
I see a lot of young women with crossbody phones. Usually they're kind of glittery and they have, but still, I mean, these look very... Yeah,
and it attaches magnetically, and I'm sure we will find out by people making YouTube videos and TikTok videos about this. But how difficult is it going to be to simply come by on a motor scooter and just yank that, just like you're taking a number at a deli? Just thank you for the phone.
I'm at the DMV.
Yeah,
that's what Keith 512 in our Discord says. Crossbody strap equals please mug me.
Yeah.
Well, no, but we know stealing an iPhone is a fool's
crossbody
game.
their cameras.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah. And I keep a hand on it.
There's like a web strap and it's like attached by really, really thick lugs. And if you try to yank it off of me, you're going to be taking me with you. And trust me, you don't want me with you on a motorcycle.
Yeah. They did emphasize that we've got the A19 Pro in here. It's not quite as fast as in the Pro phones, but
correct.
It's pretty close. They've got neural processing. They got GPUs. They got ray tracing. What?
Ray tracing.
Ray tracing.
That was another reoccurring theme. They wanted people to make sure that this is a great gaming platform. You want to game on this phone, no matter in the entire line. All our phones are great for gaming. They're great gaming devices. You want to game on this? Okay.
The funny thing is, I think at least the games I play on my phone are not like ray tracing wouldn't make them any better. You know,
Well, you can get Xbox games on iPhones now. So
I have to say that I don't know how many people on a small screen are going to notice the difference in the reflections that the ray tracing provides. Maybe I rendered a shiny ship for Star Wars without any ray tracing.
Right. But it took you how long? But how long did it take you?
73
It was
years.
45 minutes a frame.
A frame.
45 minutes a frame?
A frame.
That's
kids.
kind of
How
the
many
normal.
frames?
My longest shot was 239 frames.
Mother Mary.
And so
it took a week for you to render this image.
No. It would render overnight every night. I would render it because I worked on that shot for 9 weeks, 239 frames for 9 weeks. And so the and people would see like, what are you doing? You're on the same thing. I'm like, well, it's 239 frames, and everyone would be like, oh, okay, never mind.
Now we
That's a lot of frames. And
that's 10 seconds of film.
But, in
That's
visual effects, you spend a lot of time. Now I think you could probably render something almost the same quality, in real time.
Right. So. This was Princess
Amidala's
ship, right? The
ship, yeah.
The very shiny, pretty one.
Yeah. Was it?
Kind of looked like an iPhone Air. Come to think of it, yeah.
Not to make this into too much of a rat hole, but was that 1080 resolution, or what was the resolution that you were running at?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to say. So, but I think that on a show in front of a lot of people. But
I'm just asking because
it was roughly HD. Which you could see. Here's the hard part: is if you look at 4K versions of both Episode 1 and The Matrix, you'll see the difference where they did a lot of effects and when it was just film, because the sharpness is different. Especially The Matrix. I went to see it at the Dolby Cinema when they did a 23 release, and it just was like shocking. Like it was, because we none of us could, rendering, when you say 45 minutes a frame, rendering an HD or a UHD version would have been 4 times that, so it would have been 3.5 hours or whatever, a little over 3 hours to render every frame, and so it would, that would have been unworkable. And so a lot of that was also calculated, to go on a rat hole for just a second. A lot of this was calculated on looking at what makes a difference on film when you watch it after it's been reproduced. So you strike the master and then you make copies of those. And some golden eyes went in and looked at it, like, when does the resolution make a difference so that we're not rendering any more than we have to? And so that's how the resolution was derived. But the problem is that didn't give it a lot of shelf life when we went to UHD, but you wouldn't notice it in the theater when it came out because people were pretty careful about it. But when you go to a theater when it was filmed back in the old days, you were looking at the 3rd to 5th generation of the film,
right?
As it was as those were struck. So that's now you see exactly the artist's intent from day one, and you see the same thing at day 180.
Now the Grand Moff Tarkin looks like a fish.
I mean, it's what's interesting is again to go. I know we're not going to go into Apple Vision Pro, but where you really start to see resolution is the difference. You can really see the difference in resolution when you're looking at movies.
So do not watch Episode 1 in your Vision Pro, is what you're saying. You
still should watch it. You should definitely buy it. No, wait, I don't get any.
You should.
I don't get any royalties.
And look for, what was the name of that character? Slag Tofkin?
Rumslag.
Rumslag.
Here he is. This is my own. When I did it, they had me do a T pose, and I said, "What's the T pose for?" And they said, "For the action figure." I was
action figure, of course.
I'm gonna have an action figure.
Yeah, that would make me gasp too.
I keep trying to find it for you, but because there's a guy who's doing doing regular runs of custom like Lego Star Wars minifigs, and he does occasionally a run of Rumslag Lego minifigs.
Wow!
But I always miss it by this much.
I collect. They had the part. They had the parts that were used to make the character on eBay, and I was so close. I was just like, I was like $550.
Buy your old costume,
and you should get a discount.
No, for all the pieces for the character. Yeah, I wanted to ping him and say, hey, that's
me, and I deserve a $300 discount at least.
So not only does it have the new A19 Pro in the Slim, it has the new C1X in the Slim. It's
That's
slim.
What they call me.
I'm calling it the slim butt version. The promontory phone. It also has
no VPL, no
VPL on this one. There's it's not wearing panties, and that's the beauty.
Okay, moving on.
There we go.
It's the commando phone, we call it. They have the C1X The C1X modem chip that Apple, this is the first time Apple's released the C1X. They had the C1 before, and it wasn't quite up to the Qualcomm standards of previous phones. This, they claim, is faster than on the iPhone 16.
Extra better.
Yeah, and better battery life. That's a big deal. It sounds like Apple's got the modem locked.
Yeah. Well, there's also a study. I don't have it in front of me, but a long-term study about it was the company that does speedtest.net, I think. Ookla. And they've been doing a cumulative study in which they've concluded of the iPhone 16 versus the iPhone 16e. It's basically as a comparison between the Qualcomm modem and Apple's C1 modem, and they've come to the conclusion that depending on the network, they're very, very, very close.
Oh, that's
if you've got
good
it,
to know.
it's basically it's very much local network dependent. For instance, in Japan, there's a very, very large gap between the two, simply because Japan's networks are 100% modern. In other countries, including our own, they're a lot closer because there isn't a whole bunch of fat on the table to go get at. So anyway, so it's not a failure by any means, and it's interesting. It'll be cool to see what the benchmarks are.
And one chip as well, so they have their Apple Intelligence hardware in there, along with the A19 Pro and the C1X modem. And one of the things they've optimized for is efficiency, because the battery is inevitably smaller.
Yeah, they came back to eSIM. What a brilliant way of messaging, of saying there are going to be some people that are complaining that, oh God, well, here's another, it's the headphone jack all over the GUI. There are reasons why I like to have a physical SIM. It's so easy to swap between 2 or 3 phones I have in the household. But they're basically saying, well, we were able to give you more battery life because we are such design geniuses. We took the space that was occupied by that slim SIM card, that SIM tray, and designed a better, bigger battery to fill that space. So across the product line, turning that into a positive.
I still think you're going to see Apple just slowly get rid of everything other than one big chip. You just open up the camera and there's just going to be a chip with a handful of other little things because it allows them to get smaller and more powerful and more integrated and faster.
They put so much of it in the plateau already. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is kind of nice. They have a little comparison. If you want to know what you're getting with the current phone models, the Air versus 17 Pro versus 17. And I was asking, and you were right, Micah, the biggest difference in processor between the 17 Pro and the Air is that it's a 5-core GPU on the Air and a 6-core GPU on the 17. In fact, you can really see this is really smart of them.
I like this. This is good.
So you know what you're getting. It's pretty clear. They are claiming 27 hours of video playback on the Air compared to 39 hours, big bump on the 17 Pro. But what's interesting on all the phones is they're claiming much faster charge time.
Yeah, they're very much touting this faster charge time because they've also released in the store what they call a dynamic power adapter. So this is a normally 40-watt power adapter that can charge up to 60 watts max for iPhones now. So they're saying, look, even if you aren't getting that full day battery life, plug this in for 15 minutes while you go, I don't know, have a margarita. I don't know what people do. And then you come back and it's ready to roll. It's ready to go.
Well, and this may be probably less technology, battery technology, and more how you manage that power. You can dump an enormous amount of power into the battery until you get to it starts to get full. Then you got to slow down, or you're going to, light it on fire or reduce its overall health over time.
It's the same with EVs, with cars. They talk about charging to 70% or 80%.
And when they charge that really fast, the reason they're doing that is because they're just dumping it with an enormous amount of as much power as they can put into it, and then slowing that all down to let it cool back down again.
Yeah. That reminds me, I can't wait for the iFixit teardown of this. I can't imagine what it's going to be like to try to replace a battery, let alone a screen of this thing. It might be just buy a new one. This is a Pop-Tart. You don't repair it. You don't fix it. You just consume it.
Specifically the Air you're talking about?
Yeah.
Specifically the Air. Also the Pro, because they were making a big deal. We'll get to it, but they're making a very, very big deal about all the reasons why they went to an aluminium unibody design. And so that's I would be disappointed if they kind of took a step back, because they've been doing a really, really good job of making their iPhones easier to repair. Basically saying that you no longer have to disassemble every layer of the phone to get at the battery to replace it. Now you can basically just flip it over, get at the battery, replace it. Because the acknowledgement that replacing a battery is not always going to be as easy as popping by an Apple store that's in your neighborhood. Sometimes it's like, A, I can't afford the prices you're charging. B, I don't have access to an Apple store and I can't afford to simply ship it off and receive it back. So iFix is going to have is going to do a lot of really, really great work for the community and with their report.
They did keep the titanium for the Air, and they're polishing it to a mirror finish, and it actually
which
looks
I think is
pretty.
a travesty. I
Really?
love the natural look of
I do too. I have a natural. My
Apple
watch
Watch.
is natural.
Yeah. I'm sad.
I agree, and I have a titanium band that's natural, and so it goes nicely together. The colors are fairly muted. I won't. I'll stand corrected, Micah, if I'm saying this wrong. Black, white, light gold, rose, maybe, and
that's
a
what
lavender.
we're used to from Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very muted colors. I think the white would probably be the way to go, especially with that polished titanium. I think that's pretty gorgeous. And in fact, that's the model that they show. 80% recycled titanium. That's nice.
What do we think about the reinvention of the bumper case?
I was so excited about that.
It's
I always
back,
thought the bumper
baby.
case was amazing.
You missed it. It's here.
I got my free one back in the day, and so I was
for your
really
four.
excited to see this bumper case.
When Steve Jobs had that event, where basically said, "Okay, you babies,
Yeah.
if you insist on not losing 3 bars by holding it wrong, we'll give you a bumper case and it'll shut you up and make you learn about how we actually do everything perfectly, but we'll make you happy." Now it's going to be a voluntary thing. That's the first completely voluntary bumper case.
That's what it is. They just want to make us. But they're going. Remember when we gave you a free one? Well, now you're going to buy one, loser.
It's slim and lightweight. The bumper perfectly frames and showcases the thinness of the iPhone Air.
Yeah, we should have been able to predict that too, because if you're selling people on this beautifully designed super slim phone, you're gonna want to give them an option for a protective case, whether it's the most durable thing they've ever made or not. People are gonna want a case, and you can't just trust basic like case makers to honor the intentions of your super light airiness of it. So.
It's time for MacBreak Weekly, ladies and gentlemen, the 1000th episode. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday. Wait a minute. Should I put it this way? Is that backwards?
No, it's forward. Now it's.
Oh no, we're starting all over again.
All over again.
You know what?
Gentlemen.
I think Apple Talk is here to stay. I don't care about Ethernet anymore. That's like too far in advance.
You went and got flat balloons. That's awesome.
Well, I was going to get the real ones, and then the real ones were like $6 each, and then I'd have to like walk through the neighborhood and through the library carrying.
You look like a moron. So this way, you roll them up.
Well,
you put them in your briefcase.
I'm not afraid of looking like a moron, so long as I look like a moron that's consistent with my idiom, and that would have been a different kind of moron.
A balloon. But hey, you're not a clown.
Hey, who are you calling an idiom?
Hey, it's Jason Snell, sixcolors.com. He's wearing the official TWiT kepi.
I've got the TWiT fez on here. I got my TWiT hat. It's good. Happy thousands.
Happy thousandth.
Happy to be a part of the final 3% of.
No, I think more than that.
Okay.
Really? 30%?
No. 30,
more than
something
that.
like that.
Alex Lindsay has been here for all 1,000. Hello, Alex.
I was here in the first one, and I'm here in the last one. There's some in
So here was, look, this is what Alex looks like. On this cake, it starts like this. 1,000. It's magical. Who wants a piece of cake?
I do.
Just pass it through Zoom.
Yeah.
This is the new
FedEx.
Zoom feature that they haven't announced. That you can. It's the transporter.
At least it's going to blow them out here. Let's see. Lisa is
Zoom
going to
transporter. You just put it on.
There you go.
Comes
Can you
with the
see?
new
Can you see that?
Zoom Office.
We're going to set off the fire alarm, I believe. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, just slice that. You didn't bring a plate and a cake slicer? Well, you might as well just
a problem.
A marauder.
It goes back in the freezer for the next 1000th episode.
You know what this cake is called? Death by chocolate.
Perfect.
What a way to go.
What a way to go.
An honorable death.
I'm going to try a little bit of it. It's got double chocolate.
A warrior's death.
The good news is only 280 calories per serving. Bad news is there's 138 servings.
There you go.
That's tasty. Did I introduce everybody? Alex?
Yeah.
Andy?
Hello.
Jason?
Hi.
So glad you could be with us on this momentous occasion.
Yes, I hope. I hope no, if people in Discord are going nuts that my 1,000 is off center, it's because I was framing myself up, and I realized that if it was centered, then I would have like mouse ears, like when they do the single. And I decided, you know what, I kind of want to avoid that meme, and I can choose to not do that.
Andy, can you move your head to the right a little bit, please? Just
for the thumbnail.
To the right.
Just get it right there.
This way.
A little closer. No.
Go back.
If
I go any more,
just fall off your chair.
Okay, like that way.
You know what we're talking about, Andrew. We want the ears. The ears, baby.
Fine. You know what? It's because the things that I do and I do for this show.
YIHNATKO.
Actually, that would make me Roy, like the sort of like
You're Roy
somewhat
Disney?
dyspeptic animator that was like the grown-up guy who would draw and drink.
Honey, you didn't have to really do that. I was just joking. Oh, she's making me a piece of cake. Oh, that sounds delicious.
I had one of the MacBreak 1000 cupcakes for breakfast today.
Oh, yum! You made them. I didn't make this.
I made the money that made the cupcakes.
I made it happen, is what you say.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that looks death by chocolate for sure. For sure.
I mean, if you're gonna get dessert, get dessert. Don't slap at it. Just get dessert.
How did we get to 1,000? It's because of you guys. I'll be honest. It's your
turns out people just kept showing up. They were like, let's do this one more time.
Yeah, number go up.
Sure, lucky we got 10 fingers, huh?
Yep. Everybody, I think everybody was just kept tuning in like week after week because maybe this is the one in which the cops will come in and shut it all down during the live stream.
That's good.
Maybe if we're lucky, a guy in a Max Headroom mask will
exactly
jam the signal.
This is what Santa's gift looks like on Christmas morning. Just a nibble. And the carrot for Rudolph is gone. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alex Lindsay from officehours.global.
Hello. Good to be here.
Now, we have some news about Mr. Lindsay. This pisses me off. Cupertino keeps coming a-calling. And apparently Cupertino has come to your door, Alex Lindsay, for the holiday season. Can you explain?
Yeah, I will be. I'll be transitioning to Apple's developer relations. So I'll be the partnership manager for the 3D ecosystem starting in January.
I hear the screams throughout the MacBreak universe, as if 1,000 voices cried out in agony.
So, Alex, does that mean you're going to be working with Serenity Caldwell, my old pal?
She is in the same building.
Yeah.
She interviewed him for the job.
So
that interview must have been funny. Did she say, "Oh, hi, Alex"?
So we'll all be in the same same.
Are you in the campus, the ring, the spaceship?
I'll be right outside. So there's the developer relations building that's right outside of the ring. So So
needless to say, when people take a job at Apple, they can no longer be on the Apple. Oh.
Yeah, being on MacBreak was probably
Yeah, they won't even let Serenity play Dungeons and Dragons with us anymore on Total Party Kill. Like it's like no podcast. No
podcast for you.
Leo, did you even try to make a counteroffer? I mean, come on, Alex is way too valuable to this podcast.
I did write him a giant check. One of those giant
novelty checks. Yeah.
You can't cash it, but it was giant. It was huge. I can put it on the wall.
We can give you something that Apple cannot, and that's exposure, sir.
Yeah. Well, I got to warn you, Alex, when people go to work for Apple, we've seen it happen time and time again with Serenity, Nathan Alvarez Giles, so many people who've gone to work for Apple. It's like a black hole. They just disappear.
Well, I think that, I really had to think about it a lot. And, you get a lot of time to think about it while you're kind of going down that path. And I think that there's such a huge opportunity with 3D, whether it's Gaussian splat or photogrammetry or how we use 3D inside of what we do. And everything, USDZ, all these things. And I felt like I can't keep on complaining about it if I was offered something and I didn't do something about it. So again, and I'm constantly feel like
it's the world
just isn't using the tools the way it could. And so I'm super excited of trying to do my part into moving that forward. So So
Hey, what happens to office hours?
Office hours is still running, and we've reduced the number of days during the week.
Can you
that
do
we have
it?
a panel. I can't do it, so I'll be off. But we have, it's been run by a lot of. I don't even know, to be honest with you. I don't even know how office hours actually runs. Like during the show.
At this point, it's
so there's such a huge community that's managing that, and the panel has always been there. And I had only been hosting a couple days a week for the last year. So, but what we're doing is we're still doing something every day. But when we do things in the evening for the other side of the world, we're not doing the same thing in the morning. So we have evening shows on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and then we still have the same morning show on Wednesday, Friday, and the weekend. Yeah. So it's and so it's kind of funneling a little bit, taking a little pressure off of the panelists because it's a lot. It's a lot to take live questions all for an hour a day.
Yeah.
So there, but we have such an incredible set of panelists that have been, doing a lot of it without me when I'm traveling and so on and so forth for a long time. So I feel very,
and so you're leaving 090 as well, I would guess.
Yeah. So we're just finishing up the installs for the Arena One project. So that's been a mad rush to get it all done.
That's the movie theater one, right?
Yeah. So we've been getting that working, and we've had some really big success in both. Getting all the theaters ready to go to start concerts early next year, as well as we've kind of figured out I got a lot of time in an AMC theater, and we figured out how to stream live stereoscopic, concerts, to a screen without reinventing, without making it too complicated. Nice. And so hopefully people will see the fruits of that next year, where we start doing actual, I don't think anyone's ever seen a live concert in 3D, in stereoscopic live, 30 seconons after it was shot.
Do you wear a helmet or do you wear glasses? What are they?
It'll be sunglasses, like little sunglasses that you polarize sunglasses in an AMC theater. It's using Real D.
Not the active ones, Real D. Okay.
This is
I
Real
like
D.
Real D, actually. Of all of them, that's my favorite. So.
Yeah, it can actually work with anything. I mean, it can stream to the Vision Pro. It can stream to the Dolby Active version, to IMAX, and it's a higher frame rate, so it looks way better than 24 frames a second. 3D doesn't really work at 24, which James Cameron has alluded to. So at 60 frames a second, it's more interesting to watch, and it's true optical 3D. So there's no fakery. It's just two cameras that are delivering each eye some content, and so. I'm pretty excited to see where that goes. I mean, it'll probably take some time over next year to make that work, but it's we did a lot of great work over this year, and I needed to finish all of those things before I was able to move into the Cupertino mists.
So we haven't found a replacement yet. I have been canvassing, and I hope we will have announcements soon. Next episode, which will be in January, Shelley Brisbane will be. It's going to be an opportunity for us to bring in some of our favorite people. But I have somebody in mind I'd really love to hire. So, and we're talking with that person. So we'll let you know what happens. But yeah, I'm sad we're gonna lose you. You were the founding member of MacBreak. You created the show.
Well, it's been there's been other opportunities to do other things, and how I choose my jobs has largely been wrapped around office hours and MacBreak and all the other things that were there. And I think that it was really just this specific opportunity was big enough, but it's been incredible. I was like, I can't believe it went 19 years instead of, because it's almost exactly 19 years, because of course our first show was 19 years ago in January, right at Macworld, I think. So we're very close.
Well, my friend, we're going to keep you for the rest of the show, right? You can talk about Apple, right?
I got the rest of the show.
Your last chance.
Yeah, exactly. It's my last chance. So
what a time,
all my opinions are my own.
What a time for you to say, "Oh, I got a hard out at noon."
Yeah, exactly.
I'm being fitted for my Apple 3D Team blazer.
What do you get as a, Nooglers get a beanie, and there's all sorts of.
I have no idea. Like I just
there'll
know
be
that
something sitting on your desk when you walk in.
I'll show up on January 5th and find out. So
do you have to work on site?
Yeah, it's some days on site. So it's some days on site, some days off site. So it's. So I've got
You're gonna drive to Cupertino, huh?
Very early in the morning. So
I did that. I told you when you told me. I said, yeah, I did that for how long? Too long.
Yeah, I did the math
or something.
I did the math in Google Maps, and if I leave at 5:15, it's an hour and 20 minutes. If I leave at 5:45, it's 2 hours. so that'll be a strong push up.
You'll be caught up on podcasts and audiobooks.
Exactly.
by the end of
my family now will know when they can call. Like I'm just sitting in the car doing my thing. So yeah. So that's in my future there.
Yeah. Are you sure that you're still housebroken for like office work, like at a big company?
I don't know. I tell people like I'm
like,
leaving
do you
for
have to bring in your
time.
own coffee mug, or is a coffee mug going to be provided for you in the break room? That stuff like that.
My wife was like, "This is the first time you've had a grown up job in a long time," and so I tell people that it is a keep the everything warm because I don't know how long I'll last, but we'll do the best we can. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Wow. Well, we're very excited about your new job and that you're going to be making an honest living. I hope we will hear from you from time to time.
I'm sure you will.
It won't be on the air. I have a feeling. Just really, I'm so happy for you. I think that's wonderful. And Apple, actually, when you get there, if you would just mention that Leo wouldn't mind coming to an event or two at the camp. No, don't, because I don't want to tarnish. Wait till you've been there 5 or 6 years, and then.
Oh, again, we go baby steps. Basically, first Alex basically sends like an encrypted chat saying there will be a catering cart with a drapery over it by this east exit that will be taken in at 1:02 p.m. And they're not going to be checking underneath the tablecloth. So just don't be giggling while they wheel you into the press room.
It's very fun. We're gonna really miss you, Alex.
Yeah, I was very, very sad when I heard about this because, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I look forward to the show each and every week is a chance to chat with my friends for 2 or 3 hours and having a couple hours less.
Yeah. I think for me, it's been it's been hard. I mean, the obviously the concert thing has been 10 years of development.
Wow, you've been working on that 10 years.
Started thinking about what it would look like 10 years ago, and then started doing the pitches about 4 years ago. And then we're just, and I had hoped to, as this all kind of came up, that we'd have our first actual public show. We've had a test show, but our first actual public show before this happened, but we're not quite there yet. So I'll get to be a consumer, and sit and see how it turns out. But, so, and then, obviously hanging out with everyone here is MacBreak has been such a huge part of my life in the last 20 years. It's crazy to say 20 years. I feel very old. Wow. But yeah, so it's incredible. So and I just I'm just so grateful, to specifically to you, Leo. Like I just want to say that it's been really, I showed up at Tech TV because someone that worked at one of your camera operators said that you might be looking for guests, and
who is that? I gotta send that guy a cake.
I'm trying to think of who it was. I think it was Dave, and I can't think of his last. He just said, "Oh, you might want to stop by." And I think I came by and showed camera mapping or something like that.
Oh my God, that's great! I remember you drawing on my face with a Sharpie. I do remember that.
I still get the pictures. Yeah, little dots. So, welcome to photogrammetry. Over 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah.
But I it's. Between Tech TV and TWiT and everything else, so many of the opportunities that I've had over the last 25 years have been really directly connected to working with you, Leo. And so,
now you're going.
Thank you
to rock and roll heaven, and I'm sure they got an incredible band up there. No, you're going to be with all of our friends. So congratulations to Alex, and stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's not the first transition. In fact, everybody here is relatively newer than Alex. Andy, you've been here for quite a while.
Yep.
We went through.
I still feel like Jason's the new kid on the block.
Jason's the new kid.
It's been like what, 4 or 5 years now.
I know.
Right?
I don't even know how long it's been now. It seems like a long time.
We might have to stop calling you the Stig.
Yeah, so my Lauren's aunt is Supreme Court justice in the state of Washington. And one of the things that a lot of these courts do is they have a very strict seniority policy. So when you get on the court, you have to sit all the way on the end, and you also have to bring the snacks. It's true story.
We're gonna slide
and then very gradually you get to not be the person on the end. So I have really enjoyed.
But you do owe us 5
Alex,
years of snacks. I just want to say
I'm happy to not be on the end, so that's nice. But yeah. And I'll just point out, for the record, Google is the one who took Renee from us.
That's right.
It wasn't Apple.
No, that's right.
Big tech giants steal everybody.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think part of that is because so many of our hosts are ink-stained wretches who are happy to be getting a paycheck. And I can't really blame them for that. I really can't. Anyway.
Just those of us unemployables out here.
Yeah.
We stick around.
Yeah, we keep going. Congratulations, Alex. I hope we, hear from you from time to time. I guess it can't be on the show. I wish it would, but...
Yeah, I think it's a different...
Any leaks or secret inside information that we have from now on will absolutely not be coming from Alex Lindsay, though. I have to promise you that.
Yeah,
because Alex isn't crazy.
I'm used to working on secure projects. So.
Well, that's it for 2025 MacBreak Weekly. It was a great year. We had a lot of fun. Apple did a lot of very interesting things. We had a lot of strong conversations, a lot of happy conversations, and I hope you enjoyed every one of them, and I look forward to a great new year. It is a little bit bittersweet this year because we, of course, are saying goodbye to the man who started MacBreak 20 years ago, Alex Lindsay. He's taken a job at the fruit company. So I'm very happy for Alex. He's very excited about his new job, but naturally we'll have to say goodbye until he decides not to be working at the company we're covering. But he's been such an important part of the show, and I know he's with us in spirit from now on. And of course, I will stay in touch with him, and maybe from time to time we'll hear from him on the show. A very big thanks, of course, to Jason Snell and to Andy Anatko and to Alex Lindsay and to all the other hosts who filled in, like Doc Rock and Stephen Robles and Shelley Brisbane. They've really made this a lot of fun to do this show. As you know, we love Macintosh and Apple and iPhones, and we love talking about them. Sometimes, we're not completely happy with every little thing. That's part of our job too, but I think it's, on balance, really a fun area of technology to cover. It's the toy store, and I like that. A big thanks too to our producer, John Ashley, who puts this show together every week and technical directs it, often edits it. Of course, to our head editor and VP for Creative, Anthony Nielsen, who's sitting right beside me right now, to Benito Gonzalez, who's another one of our producers and editors, Kevin King, who normally does the Windows show, but occasionally he'll fill in here as well. Thanks also to Burke, who keeps the studio running. Our continuity department, they're great. Debbie and Viva and Sebastian, they keep the ads in order and keep the advertisers in order too, which might be a harder job. Patrick Delahanty, who is our offsite CTO. Man, talk about a behind-the-scenes guy who keeps everything flowing. And our marketing team, Ty, we appreciate everything you've done to help build the audience over the year. We've seen some really nice audience growth, and I think it's a lot due to Ty and, of course, our CEO, head of marketing, head of sales, head of everything, and my dear wife, Lisa Laporte. Thanks to all of you, most of all. We wouldn't be able to do this show without your love and support. Thank you for listening, even to this, the show with all the stuff you've already heard in most cases. That's real dedication. It's been a fun year. A special thanks to our club members, too, who not only give us the moral support, but also the financial support to keep on keeping on. I'm looking forward to a really interesting 2026. I've got my finger hovered over the buy button. I hope you will continue to have your finger hovered over the play button. We will see you in 2026. Happy New Year to the entire MacBreak family, from all of us to all of you and yours. And now, it is my sad and solemn duty, as always, to tell you to get back to work. There's some eggnog to be drunk. We'll see you next year. Happy New Year, everybody.